and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, May 9th, 2021. This is episode 374. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back for one more episode. And if you're new, I hope you enjoy what you see today and you'll come back in the future, as well as checking out past episodes, which can be found at the blog, dramaticknits.com, YouTube, as well as our Ravelry group, which is the Dramatic Knits video podcast group. So, how have you all been? It has been a little over a month since I've recorded, but things have been busy and progress has been a little slow, but I do have plenty to show and share with you this episode. So I hope you'll stick with me, and if you are looking for show notes for this episode, you can find them on the blog at dramatickknits.com. So, here we are. A lot has happened since I've last spoke with you. A lot of work, a lot of travel. We went on vacation down to Cancun and it was glorious. I am a shade darker than I was before I left, dealing with a little bit of sunburned skin. Well, I dealt with the sunburn down there, but now I'm dealing with all the aftermath of, shedding new skin. Yeah, and glasses are gone. I did get contacts for the trip, and I've decided that that's the way I'm going for right now. I tend to wear contacts for a length of time, and then I have a bad day or two where I can't get them in, and then I just go back to glasses. But right now I am enjoying the contacts, so we are wearing those, so no more reflective glare. I can look around and I don't have to worry about the sun coming in and all that fun stuff. So yeah, so vacation was absolutely wonderful. The safety precautions that were in place, we were really impressed with the amount of mask wearing that was happening. Of course, it is required to fly, so we got tested before we left and we were negative. It turns out we didn't actually need the test to fly out because Mexico does not require any type of that kind of information to get into the country. We didn't know if we would need it for the plane, but it turns out we didn't. But we did also get tested 2 days before we left the resort, which is required for re-entry back into the States. We were negative again. And it turns out that the resort itself, I thought was going to be a little bit more relaxed, but they were excellent. You were required to wear masks when indoors at all times, of course, unless you were eating or enjoying drinks in the lobby or things like that. But people were very compliant with that. Breakfast and lunch at the main restaurant was buffet style, but you had to wear a mask while you were up from your seat and whatnot. So we really enjoyed our time. I got 2 massages down there. They were a little pricey, but worth it. Andy and I both enjoyed a hot stone massage, which was great. And then I also, a couple days later, had an aromatherapy massage with the same masseuse that I had the first time. It was a bit more intense, a bit more of, I'm used to a relaxing massage, and most of it was relaxing, but the second one was a bit, they got intense at a couple of times with elbows into the back and things like that. So, but that was good. And one of the things that this resort, which we stayed at LeBlanc in Cancun, it is one of, if not the top rated adults-only resort in Cancun. It is absolutely beautiful. The staff is utterly amazing. If you want a vacation where you are going to be pampered and not have to worry about a thing, I highly recommend it if you can afford it. It is a bit of a pricey resort, but you pay for customer service and excellence, and they definitely offer that. So the food was better than we remember the first time. It is still very, very, very good. Of course, when you're offering a whole range of 5 different restaurants, it can be a little bit nitpicky about things, but we did eat at every restaurant at least once. They have a French restaurant, an Italian, Japanese, cultural cuisine, focusing, of course, on Mexican cuisine, but American, European. They have a outdoor terrace grill that did steaks one night, but they also do like wood-fired pizzas, which was amazing. They installed a gelato bar since we were there last, as well as, so they make milkshakes, which Andy loved. But they also do like a food cart, so every day they either did like tacos, or one day they did paella, which we're not big seafood eaters, so we didn't partake in that. But then they also had a churro cart every afternoon, so you could get fresh made, fresh filled churros. Yeah, way too much eating that happened. Luckily, I did not gain any weight. My blood sugars, for those of you that don't know, I'm a type 2 diabetic, weren't great. I was trying to, in some aspects, watch myself, but also monitor with medication. But Andy gained a little bit of weight. Don't worry, he'll take it off. But he enjoyed the milkshakes because, you know, his milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. It is what it is. So yeah, vacation was great. Flying both ways was not really an issue. There was a little bit of turbulence coming down into Cancun, but I had my trusty Xanax and I was doing okay. And got home late Monday, and we were back at the studio early Tuesday morning. So things have been great. We actually were given an offer on leaving to come back within the next 18 months and essentially save 50%. So we did actually take that up. We can go to any of the resorts that are owned by this company, and they just opened a LeBlanc in Los Cabos a couple of years ago, and so we actually think we're going to go out there maybe in about 6 months or so to try that resort out. And it's much bigger than the one in Cancun, but still all adults only, all inclusive. So we think we're gonna try that one out and enjoy that, and I'll let you know how that one goes. But it was nice to get away. So other than that, we did attend Fiberpalooza, which was in Winterset, Iowa. It was our first time attending that event, and it was very good. While they did ask you to wear masks, only maybe a handful of people all day were not wearing masks. We were trying to be very cautious with flying out and 2 days later to try to get a negative test, but the show was excellent. If you came out and supported us, we truly, truly appreciate it. It was a great show. We were excited to be back on the road, and we will be hitting the road again later this month, which I'll talk about towards the end of the podcast. But other than that, nothing major going on. Today is Mother's Day. If you are a mother of human babies, fur babies, or just your inner child like myself, happy Mother's Day. I hope you are enjoying. I gave my mom a shout out on Facebook, which I thought was super cute, and she's not feeling the best today, so I'm not going to visit her, but we did have a phone conversation this morning and got to catch up. So that was good. And other than that, Andy's mom's come down about twice to get stuff for her home remodel that she can only source from our local Lowe's. So she's actually coming back for one more time, probably tomorrow, to pick up even more tile than she thought she needed. And so it's been good to catch up and see her a little bit more regularly. And yeah, that's about it. Just hitting the dye pots super hard, working to get a lot of wholesale orders out and try to get ahead as things start picking up for us. We are actually going on a family vacation with Andy's family down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and renting a big cabin and going to Dollywood and doing some outdoor adventures here in mid-June. So kind of feels nice to be able to take some time off. It's a little different for us, but we're enjoying it. So before we get into the knitting, I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee. It's my second cup. I actually slept into almost 10 o'clock today, which is unheard of for myself. We did actually go see a musical at one of the local high schools last night. One of our employees, who is a junior in high school, she was one of the supporting actresses in a musical called All Shook Up, which is based around the music of Elvis, which my sister is an Elvis fanatic. So the three of us went to go support Katie, and she was absolutely fantastic. The best singer up there and probably the best actress up there. So it was really nice we see her, the demure her at work, mostly winding mini skeins is what she does. And it was nice to see her out of her shell and out of her mask. We actually haven't even seen her out of her mask really. It was nice to enjoy a little night out. And we had dinner with my sister and things like that. So that's pretty much catching you up for the last month. Let's get to the knitting, shall we? What is taking a bow this episode? So I try to only record when I have something finished to show you, hence why the irregularity in recording. But I did finish in Cancun my Beachcomber socks. So this was very fitting. I had to bring these with me on vacation. And the main body, the self-striping yarn, is Fiber Nymph Dyeworks in her Bounce base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and this is in the Beachcomber colorway. And then for the cuff, heel, and toe, I used the Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper mini skein in the Poseidon colorway. So I thought it, one, matched the stripe really well, but two, you know, Poseidon, Beachcomber, sea, sand and sea. I thought it worked really well, and to finish them in Cancun was very fitting. So I think I had the first sock done. This is where I was when we last talked a month ago. I did block it with the little stitch marker in it, so you can see I finished all the way 2/3 of the leg, all the foot, the heel, and the toe since we've talked last. And these are knit on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. I knit my socks one at a time, but on 2 circular needles. So these are for me. They're washed, they're blocked. I'm still wearing hand knits. The weather has chilled down here. It was beautiful in Cancun, of course, right? 85 to 88 degrees with a beach breeze all the time. But it actually had hit the 80s up here when we were leaving. But then when we came back, the weather decided to cool down. So we've been in the 50s and 60s here. But I think it's been rainy today and yesterday afternoon. But I think we're supposed to come out of that here this week. Fingers crossed. So let's go into what's performing this episode. First up, let's show you my colorful linen stitch blanket by Helena Cat. This is crocheted using a size H or 8 hook using 2 strands of fingering or sport weight yarn held together, and I am marling this. And I don't think I put on but maybe 1 or 2 rows since you've seen this last. As you can see, I'm trying to bring it up for you. It's got a decent amount of length. It is very wide. But yeah, if I look at my stitch marker, oh, that's the bottom. I was like, why is there no stitch marker? Okay, I couldn't have moved this up since we recorded because that's where I had it at. Let's move it right now, because if I forget again, they'll be like, oh, I did a lot of work on this. Pshaw. I have not had a lot of time to do other crafting. I tend to knit when we're on the road and things, and on vacation I only took knitting. So, and I come home and usually I want to spend time watching movies or TV with Andy, which is knitting. So I haven't got a whole lot of side crafting done, but yeah, that's going. All right, what's next? My Fade into Advent. This is by Lisa Ross, and I'm using the Suburban Stitcher 2020 Advent in the neutral fade. And this one has not gotten a lot of love. So if you know me, you know I love a good random number generator or a randomness selector. So what I've done is I've actually downloaded an app that I've heard a lot on FlossTube, which is YouTube for cross stitch, called the Tiny Decisions app, which is free. And I set up 2 different wheels. One is what to craft, so it has all my knitting as well as latch hook, cross stitch, crochet, spinning, everything. And then I have a what to knit one, which has my projects, and this one has not been being selected. So rather than going through my rotation, I've been letting that select, so sometimes I'll get a little bit more progress on one thing than another. This is being knit on a size 6 US 4mm needle, by the way. And I have not touched this since before vacation, so... Well, it does say I was here last time. We're going to have to move that. I don't know if that's true or not, but... This is the second half where the blue is. is the middle, and I have finished the whole first half. So I'm working on it. But I know Diane just released her 2021 Advent set. This was a generous gift from Diane because I love the ideas. When she said she was doing a neutral, I wanted my grabby little hands on it, and she didn't want to swap with me, so she just threw one in the mail for me because she's a kind-hearted individual. This is Living in My Bags by Awesome Granny Bags. I do love her bags. They are the perfect size for anything. So this was one that was originally gifted to the podcast for me to try out. Next up, I have my Tartan Toque and Tube by Tracy Miller of the Grocery Girls. And I did work a little bit more on this. I had cast it on and worked on it last time. I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arch Dramaturg, which is our DK weight, in the Spiced Apple Cider and Sand Dollar colorway. And then I'm holding the Sand Dollar with its mohair silk counterpart. And I did finish the hat. It came out a little wee, even though I did large, but so I got a big head, but it's not very deep. I would actually recommend, if you want a slouchy version, to do another repeat before you do the decreases. But I do like a beanie, and this will fit on the mannequins' heads even better because the mannequin heads that we have in the store are not human-size heads. So, but it's just got a little bit of that mohair floof with the white. You can kind of see it there. And this is mosaic knitting, so it's all done with slip stitches. And then I did cast on, and I am diligently working on the tube portion, which is the cowl. And I want to say I'm about to go into the last repeat, maybe. And then you mimic this ribbing down at the bottom. So look forward to that being a shop sample and maybe kits in the future. Probably kits in the future. And another Bags by Awesome Granny bag. This was a recent acquisition and I wanted to use it, but you'll see another one here soon. Wink, wink, I've not been great. Oh, that was horrible. Wink, wink, there we go. I've not been great in the not buying of acquisitions, so. All right, next up, I did cast on a new pair of socks after I finished the ones that I showed you while we were in Cancun. And those are, I'm just calling them Andy's Red Socks because they don't have an actual name. This is yarn called Laying Yarns Jaw Color in the Action series. And this is in color 0460 and they'll look like that-ish. They will not be matching. But I've gotten a good deal of work done on this. So here's the first sock. And if you look right there, I did put in an afterthought waist yarn there because I was like, I could do a heel flap and gusset. He didn't want contrasting heel, cuff, and toe. But I'm like, I know how to do afterthought heels like the back of my hand. So it's really cool how they do like the striping fading effect in there. And again, 2 circulars, size 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and then I do 70 more rounds, so a total of 80 rounds before I put in the waist yarn. Then I do another 80 rounds down the foot, throw on a rounded toe, pick up my stitches, and do essentially another rounded toe, but I do 4 straight rounds before I start decreasing to give that heel just a little bit more room in there. And that tends to fit us very, very well. So that's going. Gotta have socks on the needles, right? And then last but not least, I did cast on another project out of Leading Men Fiber Arts yarn, out of our new sparkle sock, because we needed a store sample. And I needed something mindless to work on, especially during the plane and things like that. So I did get a decent amount of work done. This is living in, this is in a Silver Shed USA bag. This one is living in a, does it have a tag on it? This was gifted to me. It's my meat sack bag. But my friend Amber, Yarn Hoarder, gifted it to me, and it doesn't have a tag on the inside, so I don't know who it's from. But I am working again in the Sparkle Sock in the Man of Mystery colorway, and I'm knitting one of my Father Time cowls. This was the first pattern recipe. It is free on Ravelry that I designed, and it is a simple 2-row cowl pattern, and one of the rows is knit, and the other row is yarn over knit two together, and it makes a simple mesh. But it is a great cowl to be able to use up that special skein of hand-dyed yarns. It is great for variegateds or semi-solids. It is super simple to travel with or have mindless knitting. And if you do your math correctly, you can use up the whole skein. So it starts off with 5 rows of garter down at the bottom to make it not roll. What I tell people is weigh your yarn before you knit, before you start knitting. Do your 5 rows of garter and weigh your skein again. So if you start with 100 grams of yarn and let's say you have 90 grams left, well then you want to leave, you can do this mesh portion until you have about 10, 11 grams left, and then do your garter and you will have probably nothing left other than enough to bind off, and it'll use the whole skein. So I did do this one 2 pattern. The first one says cast on 300 stitches. That gives you a nice long accent infinity cowl to be able to wrap it. I like to have, you know, one as a cowl and then a long loop as an accent. Every one I've made since then, because you only need a multiple of 2 stitches to do this pattern, I just randomly do a long tail and cast on till there's enough tail left to weave in, and then I start doing the pattern. Because you know what, if I have an odd number of stitches, I will just knit 1 instead of knit 2 on that first yarn over knit 2 together round, and I'm fine. So you can see here the mesh. Our sparkle has lurex instead of stellina, so I think it is a little bit more sparkly. It is not scratchy, whereas stellina has a tendency to pop out like tinsel. Lurex is an actual single strand that's plied with the yarn. So I don't know if you can see it there a little bit more. So enjoying that. I'm working this on I think a 40-inch size 4, and these are my Indian Lake Artisan needles, which I really do love. They are a hexagonal shape, and yeah, it's a shame I can't get them in the store. They don't wholesale, but we have a bunch of new needles in the store, and a new to me company coming in here soon. So that's going. So this lives at the studio for when I have downtime, which is hardly ever. So maybe a little while before I finish this. I don't actively work on it, but I did get a nice amount of work on it on vacation. All right, let's move into in rehearsal. What am I going to be casting on? I do need to cast on still the So Basic by Maxim Sear. This is a fingering weight sweater that I knit for myself last year, and Andy actually requested that I knit him one. So he has over-dyed some yarn, and it is sitting there again up on the shelf, and I forgot to grab it, but you'll see it when I start working with it. It's a beautiful dark rich green. Yeah, let's move into then behind the scenes, my spinning. I am still working on spinning my, let's just break that off there. This is the rest of my fiber optic Blackbird gradient. It started from black into saturated greens and then ends up in this aqua color. And I am gonna chain ply it to keep the gradient and be able to have a true gradient. So I'm just spinning it straight from the braid, hence why half of it's still in the braid, and then I will chain ply it. All right, so let's move on to In the Spotlight. Or actually, I'm sorry, jumping ahead. In the Scene Shop, let's talk about the other crafting, what little there has been of that I've been doing since we last saw each other. So first off, let's talk about my first cross-stitch project, which is a Heaven and Earth Designs called One for Sorrow. Again, not much here, but over here is the end of the page, the end of the first row of the top of the whole design. So we're getting there. But yeah, so this is a magpie called One for Sorrow, and this is being stitched 2/1 half stitch on a 25 count easy count fabric. And it's going. I maybe threw in 2 strands since you saw it last. My second cross stitch project is a modern folk embroidery design called Fruits of Plenty. This is a stitch along for the year 2021, and I'm still working on January's piece, and I am maybe 20% done with January's piece. So this is being stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen in Tyco by Picture This Plus, and I'm doing this 2/2, and I screwed up this little emblem here, but I need to make sure that I'm counting my stitches and not getting completely off. But I am just stitching this using 2 shades of blue DMC floss, and I'm enjoying it. I just hope I'm not totally screwing this up. But hence why I kind of like full coverage, because I know I'm filling in every stitch and I don't actually have to count open spaces, and if I'm off, then I'm off the whole thing. So we shall see how that goes. But I'm excited to get a little bit more stitching done on that here that we are now back home for a couple of weeks. And then finally I have my Fox latch hook kit that I am working on over here. I think I got a little bit of progress done since you've seen it last. This is called Fox in the Moonlight or something like that, Moonlit Fox. But you can see down there, I have a lot of his tail done, and I'm starting to now work this way. But yeah, so that's going. Put that over there, don't fall. All right, so those are my other crafting endeavors that I've been not so much working on. Let's go into the spotlight. What have we been watching and reading? So I did finish a book called Set Sail. I don't know. It's a James Patterson ghost written novel. I listened to it. It was okay. I had been putting it off for a while, but I did finally get done listening to it on vacation, and I did start something new, but I am still working my way through that one. So it was all right, nothing to write home about. A typical James Patterson where each chapter is like 3 pages, and so it kind of moves quickly. Basically, the premise of that is a wealthy family goes on a sailing trip for about 2 months in order to try to bring their family together. It's a mom and 3 kids, and their father had passed, and it was their boat, so they go with their uncle, who is the brother of the father, and the mother had recently remarried somebody, and their ship has a bunch of issues and then eventually explodes and goes down, and they're lost at sea, and it's about their struggle as well as realizing that the ship was manually exploded and why that happened. So interesting. Shows that I finished watching The Irregulars on Netflix. This is a teen Victorian drama set in England around Sherlock Holmes, but it is actually about these set of teens that are kind of street teens, and how Watson, Sherlock's better, other half, kind of hires them to help do some investigation, and things happen and they're all tied together, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but there were not great reviews about it, but I thought it was better than most of the reviews given to it. We watched Invincible, which is a adult cartoon on Amazon Prime. It is a lot of gore and fighting, but it is basically about this young teen finding his powers while his dad is one of the most notorious superheroes in the world, and about him finding his powers and finding what it means to be a hero while sinister acts are at play. We thought that was really good. We finished season 1 of that, and we also finished season 1 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is on Disney+. It was only 6 episodes. It was really good. Not as good, in my opinion, as WandaVision, but the new Loki series comes out soon, and then I think following that will be The arrow guy. The one who shoots arrows. So I think that's a really good thing that Disney Plus is doing, is that they're keeping a show always in run, so you always want to be on Disney Plus. But so let's talk stash and handspin. I have been indulging myself just a little bit. So I did first buy from Wound Up Fiber Arts. This is mostly a hand-dyed spinning fiber supplier, and I've heard a lot about them via the Bearded Pearl podcast, so I decided to give them a try, and I got 4 braids. So this one is the 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, which is kind of her go-to fiber, I believe, and Skipping Stones. So I liked that one. I tried to get a different range of colors that I don't normally pick. This one again, or this one is superwash merino, 19.5 micron and painkiller. So very soft golden buttery yellows with shots of pink and just like little splotches of teal in there. This one is in Falkland and it's called Olive Branch. And last but not least, I got another superwash merino nylon in Simply the Best, which is beautiful, and I'm sure referring to Schitt's Creek and Simply the Best. So I got 4 braids of spinning fiber. Have I been spinning a whole lot? No, but whatever. Next up, I did join 2 clubs. The first is here. The second one is another spinning fiber from Hello Yarn that I've heard great things about, especially from Laura of the Knit Girls. So I decided to join their fiber club, but I knew it would take almost 2 months to get your first shipment, so I'm waiting on that. But then I joined a 3-month club for Knitterly Things, Vesper Sock Yarn, who is Julia's good friend of ours. One of the first yarn clubs I ever joined was her yarn club, and I decided to come back. Since I gave one up, I decided to come back to this one. This is the April 2021 exclusive self-striping colorway called Practically Perfect, and I did get it with a 20-gram mini. So this is 400 yards of the main color and then a 20-gram mini. And then while we were at Fiberpalooza, I did pick up 1 skein of Comma Chameleon Yarn Company. This is in her Hardy Sock, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, in Love's Labor, which I believe is in reference to Love's Labor Lost, which is a Shakespearean play. But I just loved how neutral it was with those speckles, but they didn't overpower. It just screamed to me. So I don't know what this is going to be yet. We might have also made another big purchase at that event. We might have run across a brand new, like within the first 6 months of their business, 3D printed sock knitting machine company. So we may have purchased one for purposes in the shop to be able to offer some new add-ons as well as new items, but we may also be stocking them in the near future so that you can get a reasonably priced sock knitting machine as well. And then I did pick up a new bag from Bags by Awesome Granny because she always has these flash sales and I can't say no, and I've been admiring this fabric. This is Fun Guy fabric because I'm a fun guy. But it's all different mushrooms. And I liked the print, that it wasn't repeating so much, it's just on the bottom. So this is in, I believe, her large wedge, which is what I always get. Just got a simple, matches the outside. But yeah. So that one will be getting some use here soon. And then last but not least, I did pick up, I have fabric on order, but I did download a free pattern that was a gift pattern called the 2020 Pandemic Sampler. And this silk dyer, whoops, oh, I didn't realize they weren't all tied together. They made a silk pack for this pattern, and it's like, I don't even know how many mini skeins of silk. Need to pick all these up to show you now. Hand-dyed silks are not the cheapest. I want to say this set was like $70 or closer to $80. But I justify it in the fact that cross-stitch takes me forever. And if I'm going to cross-stitch something, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make it as beautiful as possible. Here is the first set. Let's see if I can spread out all these other ones. And so I decided to get some hand-dyed fabric and some hand-dyed silks to go along with it. Here's the color palette for it. Yeah, so can't wait to see that stitch up. Something so colorful. I tend to do a lot of dark colored monochromatic things, lots of blues, and yeah. So this is from Mrs. Sada's Silks, and I believe she is Spain, maybe, but she did throw in a little needle. Magnetic thing, needle wrangler. I'm so out of practice, y'all. Needle minder, there we go. So these silks are being stored in here until, you know, whenever I get around to that stuff. And yeah, so that's what I've been purchasing in the last month or so. Let's talk about the giveaway for this episode. I'm going to be giving away, which was generously donated to the podcast, a kit for the blue jeans purse. This looks like a colorwork purse pattern. Comes with the yarn, as well as I'm sure the pattern in the front. It is all kitted up. And in order to be eligible to win this, you need to go on over to the Dramatic Knits video podcast group on Ravelry. I know not everybody can use Ravelry, but it is the easiest for me to monitor and use for giveaways. So you can only post once. You must be a member of the group, and you must answer the prompt. This episode's prompt is, what board game do you like most? Interested to hear. So I don't do a whole lot of board games. One that we've done since I've met Andy that we haven't played in years is called Skip-Bo. Monopoly is always way too long. Not a huge board game fan. I've been playing a lot of solitaire online. It's my new filler activity. But Skip-Bo is probably the one that I know the best. So this is up for grabs. Let's go into a round of applause. Last episode, we were giving away some yarn of You So Sporty. I had 3 skeins, 2 in this light green, 1 in this blue. And they do come in with a pattern on the ball band for a 3 skein scarf, so you could easily make this into that. And the prompt last episode was, what's the best thing you could tell someone to cheer them up when they are feeling down? There was a lot of really good comments, and there are some interesting ones as well. And the random number generator picked number 17, who is Knit and Quest. That is Laura from Georgia. So congratulations, Laura. She said, things will be okay. Hang in there. I'll be praying for you. So thank you, Laura, and thank you, everyone, for sharing those words of hope and wisdom. And Laura, if you would please direct message me on Ravelry with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking, and I'll get this in the mail to you as soon as possible. I'm dropping things left and right here. But it wouldn't be a normal episode if it wasn't a Hot Mess Express, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. Let me grab my LMFA bag here, which is our grocery bag. But first, let's talk about the April 2021 colorway of the month, which was on pre-order through yesterday. But you can still grab it. There'll be some skeins stocked in the shop on Tuesday, as well as you can always custom order. Our colorway this month is called Chili con Queso, and it worked with our vacation, but we were thinking more along Cinco de Mayo, and typical chili con queso with, you know, the cheese and the peppers. So here is the swatch of it, knit flat on worsted weight. And here is a skein of it, all reskeined on our sport weight, our callback base. So this was offered on every one of our yarn bases, and you could also get a hat set with a pom-pom, or you can do a sock set. We paired our sangria colorway, which is a beautiful kind of soft winey red. And yeah, so that's the new colorway for April. We have to get on the new colorway for May, get that prototype dyed up. Let's talk about some new items in the shop just being stocked this week. We did get a replenishment from Hippie Hound Studio, who is Lee Keller is the artist behind Hippie Hound Studio, and she does all of her own printing in her studio. So we got tote bags. We have mugs from her previously, but we got tote bags and art prints restocked. So this one is a super cute farm animals in the bathtub print. But we got smart animals like with glasses, and then we got bathtub prints. And these do come with a nice back card, and then they do give you the dimensions in the listing for how to frame it if you're interested in framing them. All the prints are $18. Next up, we did get a replenishment from Birdie Parker Studios. We got more of the knit pearl bracelets, double wrap bracelets. We also brought in the crochet versions, which say yarn and hook. And then I also got a few select Rowan stockinette cuffs bracelets, which are these stamped metal endorsed leather bracelets that can fit to 3 different sizes. This one is, I don't know if it's sapphire blue with brass, I want to say. The brass and copper are significantly cheaper, but there are 2 that I have in stock that are sterling silver. Those are a little bit more. This one actually, it's a little faded. This is one I've had for a couple of years now. This is the sterling silver, as you can see here, and I've been wearing it. It wears in so nicely, and you do get a nice little travel container with all of her products. So these are available under tools and accessories and the accessories subcategory. Next up, we got a lot of new publications were just recently released for spring and summer. The new Lina magazine has come out. This is issue 11 for summer 2021. I did just get in 52 weeks of shawls. I believe there's only 2 or 3 left that just got released while we were on vacation. And then issue 11 just came out 2 days ago. I've got 3 copies of this, and that's it. I don't really replenish. I don't really do pre-orders either. I like to have ready to ship items from these hard to get and overseas companies. So the shipping is a little bit expensive for us to get them over here from Finland, but we do offer free shipping on our website to get it to you. I will say if you just purchase something that is a book, it will probably ship via media mail, which may take a few extra days. But since we are offering free shipping, we do need to kind of be cost effective in that. So, but this one, as always, is beautiful. There are some of the designers that I know in here. George Cullen, I follow him on Instagram. Gudrun Johnson, and Stephen West has a pattern in here as well. Just beautiful photography, absolutely just stunning. But yeah, so I won't do a flip through of this, but just so gorgeous. I was trying to see if, since I know a lot of you like Stephen West, I was trying to find his pattern in here. I do think there's an interview with the owners of Knitrino, which we've worked with, which is the new knitting app. Well, not so new anymore, but yeah, there's the 2 ladies behind Knitrino. I don't know where Stephen was. Oh, there it is. Seriously Holy Wrap. That's Steve and Wes design for this book. And yeah, just some beautiful things in here. So there's also an interview with Diane Ivy of Lady Dye Yarns. So very cool. So check that out. Beautifully printed. We've got a lot of different line of products. We've got the 52 weeks of socks, 52 weeks of shawls. We have Fair Isle Weekend, which is by Mary Jane Mucklestone. We've got the My Knitting Notes, which is a beautiful journal through them. But yeah, lots of things we're offering. We also, I don't know if I've told you before, we also are now stocking cocoa knits. So one of the things I brought to show you, this is the Craft Caddy, which is a beautiful craft paper, washable craft paper caddy. We have them in olive brown and gray. And then you purchase it separately, but these are the handles, the hand sewn on handles that you can attach to them. And so that's what I brought to show you from Cocoa Knits. Those are really cool. I love their aesthetic over their Cocoa Knits. And then last but not least, I wanted to show you these. These are, we'll be getting more in different colors once we sell out of these, but I bundled them in three. I got 3 different colors, 3 different fabrics. These are little no-sew Leading Men Fiber Arts tags. So it has our logo. So if you knit something with Leading Men Fiber Arts, they are fold-over tags that you could put on the hems of sweaters or, you know, the cuff of a sweater as well. You can put it on the hat brim. You can put it on fingerless gloves cuff. Anything really. And so you just kind of put the rivet, is that what it's called, through the fabric and then put it on. So we've got here, this is faux leather and caramel. We've got a blue cork and then a gray faux suede. And all of them, because it is best, I had put on the back hand wash, dry flat. Now, even if it is super wash, but just to kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, so I did have one of our employees put on all the rivets and package them. So they, you know, they come like this and you fold it over and then you flip the cup up and it gives you the wash instructions. So just stick that through your net fabric and put it on. So those are cute, and you get a 3-pack for $8 of those. And like I said, I'll venture into more colors and different things like that, but I thought this gave you a nice variety of pack for your projects. So that's what's new in the shop. Of course, tons of new things. I get new things in every day because I love shopping, and shopping for the shop, yeah, it's just a bonus. All right, current knit-alongs going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. We have the Kebab Hat and Mitts knit-along going on, and that goes until the end of May. And then going until the end of June is our Mystery Make-Along knit-along and crochet-along. There's been a couple of finished objects in there, super cute. And then our newest knit-along is the Pick-a-Pop Cowl knit-along, which started May 1st and goes until the end of July. That was a pattern designed for our Cast of Characters mini skein yarn club, and it uses just 4 mini skeins. So if you are not part of our club, you can always go to the homepage at leadingmenfiberarts.com, scroll down till you see Cast of Characters, click on sign up, and then from there it gives you all the information, and you can choose between just the mini skeins or the mini skeins plus the Katrinkle's Stitch Marker of the Month add-on. Choice is yours. You will be automatically billed every month until you cancel your subscription, and you will get a package at your door before the 24th of every month, and every quarter we'll have a new design featuring mini skeins from us. So we are more than ecstatic to be working with our designer in residence, who is Stephanie Lotvin of Telly Bean Designs, who's also going to be teaching at the Knitting at the Estate 2021 retreat, which we are hosting, and it is moving forward. We have been in conversation with the event this week, and it looks like things are going to be opening up a little bit more, so we should be good to go in September. And we do currently only have 7 off-site spots available, and I think we got 1 double open, which is on the homepage of our website if you're interested. We had one movement, and off-site you get everything included other than your lodging, but there are 2 great hotels about a 10-minute drive from the estate. And yeah, we're super excited about that. So much so that we already have 2022 booked and 2023 so that we can solidify our weekends. We are currently the second weekend in September for this year and next year, which is the same weekend as Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. Wouldn't you know it, we were like, well, we're never going to get into Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. We've been on their wait list for 5 years. Well, we just got notice 2 days ago that we got in this year with a single booth, which is fine. So we are trying to figure out how to be in 2 places at once. So most likely Andy is going to go vend Wisconsin Sheep and Wool the weekend of Kate, and it will be myself plus my sister Amanda running the retreat, which I think we can do. We may be asking for some volunteers to help. We also have our high school employee who will probably be able to help on the weekend as well as Friday evening. So I think we can handle it, but you may not see Andy at Kate this year. He may be there for a little bit on check-in on Thursday, but it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show, so we really don't want to turn it down because we know Wisconsin Sheep and Wool is a great show and vendors have nothing but good things to say about it, and if we turn it down, there's a very good possibility we will never get back in. So we kind of got to strike while the iron's hot. So, and plus we have a lot of vendors that do it, and I know Andy will be in good hands to be taken care of by our friends while he's vending by himself. So, all right, I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining me this episode, and I hope that you got some inspiration or some ideas from this episode. As always, I encourage you to leave me a comment on YouTube or the Ravelry group. Give me that thumbs up, that subscribe, whatever, to help me get seen, if you feel so kind and want to. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you in a few weeks or whenever I finish another project. And as always, I hope you make something dramatic.